Welcome once again to another episode of Coffee and Bolter. As you can see, we've changed the set a little bit, we've moved, and well, if all goes well, we'll start doing Coffee and Bolter in this new location. Where, man, there isn't as much Old Hammer stuff as in the other one, but there's Warhammer stuff. So I hope that, well, after all, it's a background, so I hope you like it and find it pleasant. And let's get to it. In this episode, we're going to talk about a Phoenix Lord, one of the most important the Eldar have. And it's because in the Ranadandra, at the end of the Eldar, well, he'll be the one who gathers all the Phoenix Lords against Chaos. It's a somewhat strange mix that Games Workshop has gone for. Why? Because it mixes Norse mythology. If you've read a bit about Ragnarok or the Ragnarok, you know that Thor, at the end of what is the Ragnarok event, the end of the world, well, he'll fight against a serpent and, well, perish. In this case, well, Fuegan won't perish, but it's true that he will exterminate the entire Eldar race to end chaos. But, well, that's a myth, a legend or not, so let's get to it. Fuegan, the Burning Lance, is a Phoenix Lord of the Alitok craft world and founder of the Fire Dragon's Aspect Warriors. The air around him sizzles, and enemies blacken and char at his touch. Fueled by the consumed fires of annihilation, Fuegan embodies the aspect of the war god, Kane, who demands that his enemies not only be defeated, but reduced to ashes. Demon princes, orc war bosses, and champions of humanity have fallen before his lance and his axe, each one strengthening Fuegan's chain. When Ranadandra arrives, the final battle of the Eldari against Chaos, legends tell that Fuegan will use that same chain to subdue the dragon of Eldar mythology to his will, unleashing his white and scorching fury upon the dark gods that haunt his people. Let's start with his story. And as always in these things, we talk about Asurmen. Asurmen, the Hand of Asur, was the first Phoenix Lord. Before the fall of the Eldar, Asurmen led the craft worlds away from the ancient homeworlds of the now lost Eldar Interstellar Empire, and it was he who founded the first aspect shrine, the Shrine of Asur, on the arid moon of the same name, located in a region of the Webway that his people had initially colonized. Asurmen found he couldn't leave the path of the warrior for another Asuryani path, as he wished to use his skills to protect what remained of his kind, after the birth of the chaos god Slanesh, or She Who Thirsts. From the Shrine of Asur, the first aspect warriors emerged, and for the first time, the path of the warrior was opened to all the Eldar of the craft worlds. Those Asuryani who wished to follow this new path learned at their master's feet, and in turn took up the mantle of exarchs before spreading across the galaxy. The first exarchs, the Asuria, sons of Asurmen, were the greatest of his disciples and became the Phoenix, lords of the other aspect shrines. I've got goosebumps all over. The first masters of the other specialized combat disciplines of the Asuryani. Fuegan learned the arts of war at the Shrine of Asur under Asurmen's tutelage in ancient times, many Terran millennia ago, when the aspect warriors were first born. When the Asuria scattered across the galaxy, Fuegan founded the Fire Dragon Shrines, or the Flaming Dragons on the craft worlds, the warrior aspect, whose teaching advocates the total annihilation of the enemy, ensuring their destruction beyond any doubt. Fuegan instructed his disciples in the use of fire and flames, channeling and mastering the powers of the mythical dragon. His hope was that the Eldar of the craft worlds could bring harmony through selective destruction, instead of viewing oblivion as a force capable only of sowing chaos. Fuegan was given up for lost when the Shrine of Asur was destroyed by Arra, the fallen phoenix corrupted by chaos. He vanished for Terran centuries before reappearing at the Battle of Haran Shamash, the world of blood and tears, according to the Eldar lexicon. There, fighting alongside Farseer Eldrad Ulthran, whom we'll cover soon, he swept dozens of greater demons from the planet with his fire pike, from which he takes his name, and claimed a dozen more with his rune-covered fire axe. The wounds sustained only increased the Phoenix Lord's resolve, and Fuegan grew in strength. As the fight progressed, the fury of his attacks burning ever brighter until the last enemy fell. After that conflict, Fuegan entered the webway once more, traveling through its secret and labyrinthine passages, tracking the enemies of his ancient ancestors, and emerging only to fight for noble causes that would protect his kind. Around 999 of the 41st millennium, he was seen during the fall of Medusa V, leading a group of fire dragon exarchs in an assault against an imperial fuel distribution center. In the Indomitus era, the present day, Fuegan appeared under the command of the Phoenix Lord, Jain Zar of the Howling Banshees, now in the service of Inid, god of the dead, and patron of the Inari cult. He took part in the defense of the Inari against the Thousand Sons and the demons of Tzeentch in the webway, vanishing during the conflict. Since then, he has tracked the ancient tunnels of the webway, hunting down the enemies of the Asuriani. But anyway, the important thing about Fuegan is the prophecy, the Ranadandra. Fuegan is a formidable hero for the Asuriani craft worlds, often depicted holding in his flaming fist the cosmic serpents of wisdom and entropy. In his wake, entire worlds burn, for the dragon of Eldar mythology is synonymous with destruction. His gaze is fire, smoke rises from the skin of those who do not show him proper respect, and those who deserve his wrath are reduced to ashes in an instant. In many ways, Fuegan embodies the Aspect Warrior's obsession with their lethal art. He gives himself completely to the systematic and total pursuit of the enemies of the Eldar, exterminating them without mercy, one by one, until their deaths form an unbroken chain of retribution that stretches across the entire universe. The Eldar craft worlds believe that with this chain, Fuegan intends to subdue the dragon at the end of days, a feat that would be equivalent to mastering destruction itself. Fuegan's final fate is announced in the last stanza of the Asuriata, the legend of the Phoenix Lords, known only in its entirety by the bards of Twilight. The passage says that it will be Fuegan who summons the Phoenix Lords for the final battle, the Ranadandra, and that the Burning Lance will be the last of his brothers to die in that conflict. When the footsteps of demonic kings and demigods shake the galaxy, sealing the final death of the Eldar species and their gods as the price for the elimination of chaos within the Immaterium. Let's talk now about the panoply that Fuegan carries, okay? That is his weapons, his armor, as always in these chapters on the Phoenix Lords. Well, of course, Fuegan wears Phoenix armor. The legendary Phoenix Lords wear the ancient and priceless Aspect armor, so finely crafted that it resists almost any weapon. The helmet contains Fuegan's spirit stones, which preserve the souls of all the fire dragon exarchs who became Phoenix Lords since Fuegan left the first shrine of Asur millennia ago. Let's talk about Searsong. Fuegan carries a massive elongated thermal fusion weapon called the Fire Pike, which he has named Searsong. This fusion weapon vibrates the target's atoms, generating so much heat that enemies burst into flames before liquefying and evaporating completely. Of course, he also carries his fire axe. This ancient weapon glows with the heat of its massive and elegant forge. Like all of Vol's work, it has never cooled since it was created, and the Eldari runes, etched onto its surface, constantly writhe in fiery agony. And last but not least, because this is Fuegan, he takes out vehicles at will, he carries Melta bombs, portable incendiary devices that use Melta technology based on nuclear fusion. They are lethal, even against armored units, as the intense directional heat generated can pierce a hull in seconds. Well, I sincerely hope you enjoyed this little episode of Coffee and Bolter, which was all about the Phoenix Lord Fuegan. We would like to remind you that Gerard Gomez, one of our talented supporters on Patreon, has painted Fuegan in an incredibly impressive and detailed way. If you would like to learn how to paint Fuegan just like Gerard does, please do not hesitate to join our Patreon community. And we'll see you next week in the next Coffee and Bolter.